that we have one table here that is filled with former citizens of the year of San Angelo. Mike Boyd is another. Mike, where are you? It is time. I knew if I started that I would forget somebody, so I'm not going to continue to go. But it is now time to welcome the ladies that make it all happen. They were recognized as 2021's Citizens of the Year for their vision that became an internationally acclaimed celebration of art in the open air. Barbara Rollo is coordinator and co-chair of EnPleinAir Texas. Treva Boyd is co-chair of EnPleinAir Texas. Would you please welcome them to the microphone?
Well, as you know, so many people help make EPAT a success. EPAT is EnPleinAir Texas, but I bet most everyone in here knows that. So we're excited that you're all here. We're happy to have Tom as the board chair here, Tom and friend Greg here. We appreciate y'all being here, but we have some other board members here, quite a few board members here. Mary James and Martha Visney and Renee Peckham, Delphine Walker. Is Lori Franks here? I thought she was to be here. Okay. So anyway, board members, thank you for helping support this and support us as we try to do this. And our EPAT gang, which we could not do it without, a bunch of them are here tonight. Sharon Alexander and Ellen Lassiter, Lori Henderson, Sue Rainey. And we have a special new addition to the EPAT gang. Our student ambassador, our EPAT student ambassador, Hannah Jones, was one of the press paparazzi tonight, way back there. She drove in from Fort Worth yesterday to help decorate. So they're here. And I'll tell you that this week while we were working on tickets and people were calling and were sold out, by the way, and we kept having to Susan, can we get one more? Thank you, please. So we sold out. And while we were busy with people, a lot of last year's sponsors, several of them, said to me already, okay, I want to sponsor that again this year. And you don't know how good that makes Treva and I feel. I even got a call from Pat McDaniel, who is the JFM Frames person who comes and brings his truckload of frames every year for the artists, to support the artists. And he said, yes, I'll be there. So artists listening on the live stream, you're going to be happy tonight about that. And then you can be a sponsor still. There's lots of places open. You can also host an artist in your home. Ellen Lassiter works on that every year and gets every single artist hosted. This year, if you're interested in that, would you want to visit with her before the evening is over, or get in touch with us and we'll get you in touch with her?
So many of our museum staff does an incredible job for us, and lots of the jobs are with a time crunch, but we always with a smile, and we want to thank them tonight. We want to thank Janet and Shady and Matt and Alex very much. We appreciate it. And again, our amazing decorations and the paintings displays you enjoy here tonight are as a result of the creativity of Janet Lay and Rosemary Cantrell. And let's thank them. And they're wonderful artists themselves. And they had a lot of help from Jennifer Crutchfield, Arlene Cullum, who put all of that together back there, the paintings that are for sale. And Sharon Alexander and Sue Rainey. And again, our ASU Fine Arts graduate, Autumn Carter, and Hannah Jones, and her mother, Sarah. We really appreciate it. And Rosemary's paintings, by the way, and Janet's, are in the hallway when you first come in. enjoy them. But there might be something there you want to take home too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Price.
And thanks again for doing that. And thank you again, Terry. Appreciate it. We go way back. When I had my 10th anniversary with Mike, our wedding anniversary, he rolled up a little piano in my driveway and played, and my best friend sang, and we had another wedding renewal. So thank you, Terry. And thank you to Rick. Rick Mantooth is a very good friend. Foster Communications, you always are so supportive, and we can't appreciate you enough. For so many years you've been behind us since the very beginning, so thank you again very much. We also want to thank John Long and Song for coming and accepting our invitation to paint here live. That's kind of nerve-wracking. It would be for me, but he's a pro and he does it graciously and effortlessly, so we appreciate him. And perhaps you love that painting. Okay, there's a bid sheet over there. So don't let the evening get by without putting your bid on there. They drove all the way from Austin, by the way, to be here with us to kick this off. This is the kickoff to our year for EnPleinAir Texas 2022. So it's a very important evening for us. Definitely one of you needs to go home with that painting because you saw him paint it, you got to know him. That's what makes it even more valuable, right? So you need that great memory, and you need to take it home with you. So, thank you.
And part of the pleasure of this nationally recognized event is having our local artists participate and compete. And we want to recognize two of them here tonight who painted in the EPAT competition in past years. And last year, they were our EPAT ambassador artists. They were everywhere we needed them. They actually painted on the ranches with the artists. They kind of took the new artists under their wings and showed them the ropes. And they were tireless. They helped whenever we needed. They were, in fact, totally fabulous. So I want to introduce Jonelle Richardson. And Debbie Carroll. And Jack Price was going to be here. He was also an ambassador, but his wife is ill tonight, so he's not able to be here. Another outgrowth of EnPleinAir Texas is especially exciting. We've got a steady local group of 8 to 10 artists who paint together weekly, outdoors, somewhere different every week. We haven't been through a whole summer yet, but we started late last summer, I think. And we've become a really cool little group of supportive artists. That's what EPAT has caused with the local artists. And last week, we were lucky to get invited to paint on Jennifer and Tim Crutchfield's ranch. So we thank them for that. It's always great to get out on a ranch and paint, whether you're an EPAT artist or a local artist. And you know, the ranchers, as you know, are truly a big part of EnPleinAir Texas. It's what sets us apart from the rest of the world. No one else does this. And those ranchers welcome those artists onto their private land, and the artists are totally wowed by their hospitality. They know it's genuine. They talk about it. It's a big thank you to. We've got lots of ranchers here tonight, and we thank all of you for all that you do for us.
We have the greatest volunteers. They're just wonderful. They're friends of ours. And, you know, one of these days, I'm afraid when I call, they're going to go, no, but they haven't yet. So we really appreciate our volunteers, our artist hosts and patrons, and everyone else who simply just comes and enjoys this event as much as Barbara and I do. And we want to thank everyone for being here tonight. We thank all of you. And please take a look at those special paintings from 2021, that event. They're here in the back. They're for sale tonight. You can pick something up. You can benefit the museum by doing that. Plus, it's a surprise to the artists when they get their check in the mail from their commission. There are some beautiful West Texas scenes. Plus, Chong has brought one with him from home that will remind you that we live in a beautiful cactus country here. That's about all that's blooming right now, Chong. There's so much more to add, but we turn this back over to Rick.
Don't you love those ladies? Well, yes, I still have some script here, so that's good. It is what a remarkable event. So much more than just a big art competition. It's true that EPAT is a big deal. It showcases San Angelo as a national arts and cultural destination. National magazines have published stories not only on EPAT, but also on San Angelo and on our local painters group. Many of the EPAT artists will take their paintings from here and enter them in national shows, and they'll win awards with them. San Angelo paintings have been used in magazine articles, in artists' ads. EPAT is talked about everywhere. It's also a community-led and supported event. Over 100 volunteers help every year, and over 50 families have hosted artists over the years. Hundreds of meals from local restaurants and caterers that feed our artists and patrons during the week as well. San Angelo believes in this event, and the artists feel the love of the community. And I think, I'm coming off script here just a bit, but I think that is part of what makes this event so very special, is that you show the love that San Angelo has to give for the arts community. And it doesn't surprise me, Howard, that it is the visual arts capital of Texas. I think that when people finally come to San Angelo and they see how we love those who can create in that way, it makes all the sense in the world that we would be the visual arts capital of the state of Texas. This is where you applaud and agree with you spread the word that this is one of the very best events in the country to get into. Over 250 patrons have purchased over $1 million in artwork over the past 8 years. Does that number surprise you? $1 million in artwork purchased over the last 8 years. Then they come back and they buy more. EPAT is a major fundraiser for the museum's children's education outreach programs, and it helps to support the artists, and everyone benefits. The artists truly have become part of our family. They are happy to go into the schools and mentor our children, sharing their talents and their love of our culture and the land with their artwork. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take just a moment to pause, and then I invite you to give us your attention once more when we visit with Whitney Watson-Wood, who is the Executive Director of Communications for the San Angelo Independent School District. We'll do that in moments. Please enjoy your evening, and then give us your kind attention in a few moments. Can you hear me now? Okay.
That was fun. I enjoyed it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're back. And, I'll just have to talk extra loud because the microphone is not working as well as it was. And I think it's really bad. Always. It is on, yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, we are live streaming this event, and I would like to say a very special hello to those who are watching our event from afar. Would you turn around and wave at our camera and give them a big round of applause? Talking this evening with Whitney Watson, who is the Executive Director of Communication for the San Angelo Independent School District. Whitney and I have worked together a bit, and I'm proud to be on stage. What wonderful stuff you do. Let's talk a little bit about how the EnPleinAir Texas artists have affected what you do and what our kids do at San Angelo Independent School District.
Absolutely. I first wanted to say thank you for everything that they have done. It's very hard to follow our Citizens of the Year, but what an incredible event and opportunity they have brought to San Angelo ISD. We are so appreciative of it. What it really does is open this world to our children that they may not otherwise experience. Out here in West Texas, San Angelo, a lot of our kids are under-resourced. So to have an opportunity where they get this globalization and get to see somebody that is really succeeding at something that they're passionate about, that is so wonderful. So at San Angelo ISD, we always say we celebrate all the ways our students are smart. And what we mean by that is that we recognize that they have different strengths, different things that are their hopes and dreams. And within that, there are definitely some kiddos that aspire and hope and love to be artists. So when we have the opportunity to partner with an organization like on EPAT or EnPleinAir, which I know I may say wrong, I'm sorry, I'm a Texas girl. But it's an opportunity to ignite those passions. So this past year when we had every single one of our elementary schools had the opportunity to have an artist visit and talk about not just technique, but also talk about how they can find inspiration in the environment around them and how they too can be an artist. It's just an incredible impact on those kiddos. And so we are so appreciative of that. So that's one way. I personally got to see some of our high school kiddos, including the Lakeview Art Club, get to go to the International Lily Pad, I don't know if it's that wrong, but the International Lily Collection here to visit with the artists and ask them questions that can really impact. So it's that opportunity to make those connections. San Angelo ISD, we also have what we call our learner profile. It's something that we've worked with our community to develop and to find what are these characteristics and skills that we find important to help our kids be future ready for the future of their own design. And part of that, they've really narrowed in on what we call the 4 C's. And those are communicator, collaborator, creator, and critical thinker. Well, when you think about an artist, they're doing a lot of those things. And creation is a huge part of that. And then you bring in y'all's program, and collaboration and communication are just absolutely that. So it definitely aligns with what we're trying to do. But when you add in that we have kids, again, in West Texas, that not only are having exposure to amazing, talented artists from across the state, from across the nation, and globally, what an incredible gift y'all are giving them. So I just want to say thank you for that, because that's how you really get to where you have people really being able to start those passions, start dreaming from a young age. So thank you.
Yeah.
So Whitney, what do you think are the next steps for our collaboration with SAISD?
Well, we definitely have to work together to figure that out, because I know that there are ideas that y'all have. You know, when we were just sitting here talking, we mentioned the student ambassador, which I believe is in Angelo State. Oh my gosh, I was like, we've got to have one of those for Lakeview and for Central, and maybe from our elementary schools too, to where they really take on that leadership collaborative role and have an opportunity like that. I've also gotten word from our Jennifer Crutchfield, such an amazing connector for us, so we truly appreciate her in addition to in addition to all of the work she's done for St. Angelo and for the children of St. Angelo for years and years. But I have word from them that one of the next steps that we considered is art packs to go, which is something where they're kind of going to be able to have something where they can go create on their own. And again, when you talk about a district where we are about 60% what we call under-resourced, but that is, you know, we're socioeconomic lower side of that, that's huge. To have that opportunity for them to be able to create and to extend these ideas and these inspirations that they have and be able to move forward with that, that is huge. So I think that's part of it. We also want to just keep going with the wonderful things that you've already been doing and build upon it. When I mentioned the Lakeview and Central kiddos having the opportunities to go to the water lilies, interact with the artists, well, they even had inspiration from that to create their own EnPleinAir events, and they were kind of working towards it. They didn't get it quite off the ground yet, but I can see that happening. I know these kiddos, we've got leaders in these groups, and they can really do that. So working together to do that would be amazing. But really just growing what's we already know is successful and see how we can do that more. Having one of these artists go into every elementary school, that was absolutely impactful. You know, we were all coming off, you know, this COVID pandemic that we've been dealing with, so it was a little bit different environment. It was harder for us to do that. Thankfully, we were able to, but we will probably be able to do that in a better scaling, to get a little bit more coverage for it, to maybe do a live video and see some of the kids, some of the questions these kids have. It's really cute. Like, they'll be like, "You able to make a living do that?" And that's that inspiration. And they're like, "I can do this." And also learning that it takes practice, it takes dedication in the same way that they would with some of the different academic areas. Again, we always go back to the celebrating all the ways these things are smart. And so getting these opportunities for them to see it in action, see that they could be an entrepreneur from the art side. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to grow it. We probably need to talk about it a little bit more and see what the foundations to do those things are. But there's what's already been going on has been fabulous. So just continuing that, and then working with our student leaders to see how it can happen. The one area I do know that we want to look at is also our middle schoolers. So we had our elementary kiddos got these wonderful in-person experiences from unique artists at every campus, which, by the way, that's 17 elementary schools. So that's a lot of work on y'all kind of coordinating that, and thank you to the artists that helped make that happen. We know that, so thank you for that. And then having the high school event, but looking what can we do with those middle schoolers too, so that they're getting that experience in elementary, they're getting to continue it to middle school and then on to high school.
So I wonder what would be the possibility that maybe we could pair these kids up with the artists when they go out to paint, and maybe they could paint side by side. Wow. Do you think that might be a good way to do it? Thank you to Whitney Watson-Wood. She has a little something she'd like to present to Barbara and Treva.
Again, y'all done so much, and this isn't nearly enough, but we just wanted to say thank you and express our gratitude to all of you and to Jennifer as well. Just thank you so much for everything you've done for St. Angelo ISD and for the city of St. Angelo. So thank you.
Well, I think it's time to welcome Barbara and Treva back to the microphone. You don't mind.
we're gonna get to the winners, the announcements. But I want to address the painting, the artist painting with the students. And this year, and every year, on the Saturday, the last day of the event, we have an open paint out in the morning. It's been out at the roping every year. This year, it's going to be at the Dia de los Muertos, huge celebration that's right here behind the museum. And the artists will get here at 9. The Dia de los Muertos folks are bringing in dancers just for our artists, bringing in 14-foot tall mojigangas, puppets, and we want the high school kids here to watch and to paint. So, and we want little kids here too, because we have free art package that the museum art education gal is going to do here for all sorts of kids. We have an art scavenger hunt that day for the little kids. So yes, Saturday, October 29th, we want to be very busy with SIA. Okay, I haven't looked at the bidding over there, but you're welcome to get up anytime you want. If you like water lilies, we've got that little painting by Chum right over there. So make your way over there. You can bid on it until we toast with the champagne, and then it's over, okay? As soon as the last artist's name is announced, it'll be in about, we'll probably take 20 more minutes.
Where's the bid sheet, Barbara?
It's on the stand.
Right behind the table there.
Now we'd like to introduce last year's top 5 artists who are automatically juried in for this year's event. And I'll start out with Christine Lashley of Reston, Virginia. The Elton Joyce Murphy 2021 Grand Prize winner. Of Kansas City, Missouri, the 2021 Body of Work Award. Jill Farnsworth of Venice, Florida, the 2021 Second Place Award. It's still for sale, by the way, it's right over there, and he's a fabulous artist, and it's beautiful. Spencer Meager of Mount Vernon, Illinois, the 2021 Third Place Award. And Matt Barber Kennedy of Chicago, Illinois.
Our British friend, yes.
And before we announce so all these artists get to come back automatically. And we want to just say how absolutely delighted we are to have Michael Grauer as our juror this year. He came last year for a few days. He did a talk on 100 years of plein air painting in Texas. Actually, it was more like 400 years of plein air painting in a quick hour. He was fabulous. He loved EHAT, and he's our juror this year. And you'll hear more about him. And now we're very close to knowing who those artists are, and so let's turn everything back over to Rick.
Just so you know, the artists were selected from hundreds of painting JPEGs that were sent in from 27 states.
Hello, my name's Mike.
Well, I've been interrupted by the best. They were sent in from 27 states, Puerto Rico, and Nova Scotia. Their signatures were smudged and the paintings renumbered before they were sent to our juror, Michael Grauer. Before we announce them, let's hear a word or two from our juror, Michael Grauer.
Hello, my name is Michael Grauer. I'm the McCaslin Chair of Cowboy Culture, Curator of Cowboy Collections and Western Art at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City. I'm honored to be a judge for this year's plein air Texas exhibition and sale, and as a former plein air painter myself, it was a real pleasure to take a look at all the offerings by these different artists who worked all over the country or work all over the country. I've judged a lot of art shows in my career. I'm coming up close to 40 years in the museum world, and so I've seen all kinds of art throughout my work as a museum curator, and also both in the historical realm as well as in the contemporary realm. So I usually come at these kinds of things looking for a couple of things, especially because I used to be a plein air painter in pastels back in my days of youthful exuberance. Don't paint much anymore. I haven't painted in a long while. I started having kids and became more interested in history and art history. I don't have that thing that drives me to make art anymore. I do like to pick up a pastel crayon occasionally, but not so much anymore. Maybe someday I'll have that opportunity. But when I did paint landscapes, it was from my home that was then at Sunday Canyon, which is a side canyon of Palo Verde Canyon in the Texas Panhandle, east of Canyon, where I lived for 31 years, and had the opportunity to go down into Sunday Canyon frequently and paint down there. So I use pastels to paint Capitol Peak and some of the other hoodoos that are down there, as well as general landscapes in and around West Texas. So what I usually look for is I want to see some work. I'm not a fan of tricks or gimmicks or anything particularly slick. So you'll find that in the works that I juried for this exhibition. Anything that looks a little too influenced by graphic design or commercial art, I usually jury those things out. I want to see the fresh impact of the landscape or whatever the topic or subject is in the painting, and that's usually very evident right away, at least to me. Artists always use shortcuts if they can, but in plein air painting, you really don't have the opportunity to get too formulaic about it. It's really a more pure form of response, as I've found, both as an artist and as an art historian. It's pure response to what's happening in front of you. And the thing I also really strive to look for is painting what the artist sees rather than what the artist knows, and that's usually very obvious. An artist has come with a particular template or some sort of stencil in mind that does not lend itself well to plein air painting. And so I think the thing is, I want to see freshness, I want to see work. I don't want to see anything slick. I want to see direct response, a visceral response to that particular landscape. So once again, it's been a real honor to be part of this project and as part of this exhibition, and good luck to all of y'all, and I'll conclude this way. Just keep slopping the paint.
So Michael Brower has been a real gift to EnPleinAir Texas. The 2022 artists in random order are Anthony Bowes, that's right. Anthony Bowes, Chesterfield, Virginia. Last year, Anthony's paintings was completely sold out by Saturday. In 2021, because of his impactful experiences during his teens, he decided to start using his art to help more people. He raised $2,600 for the Virginia Capitol Trail by auctioning artwork he painted on the trail last September. Anthony Bowes.
Wow.
Karen Cooper from Grinnell, Iowa. Born in Nebraska, Karen lived in Russia for 4 years and studied with an outstanding Russian artist. She created 48 plein air paintings, student studies in 2020 for a solo exhibit on Iowa's Greatest Lake, and sold 35 paintings. Karen Cooper. Farley Lewis, Springfield, Missouri. Farley was born in Texas, was a pastor for 19 years, continuing to paint on the side, probably the right side. In 2019, some of you will get that later. In 2019, he became a full-time artist, competing and winning in EnPleinAir events, and has painted murals in Canada, Mexico, South Africa, and the Middle East. Farley Lewis. Tat Roberts, O'Fallon, Illinois. Tat played volleyball for more than 25 years and was classically educated in Russia. She immigrated to the U.S. in 2000, had a solo exhibition of more than 40 plein air works titled 4 Seasons Painted in Russia. Tat Roberts. Rahinda Casey, Falls Church, Virginia. Rahinda was born in Nepal and studied basic painting as a child, eventually developing his own unique watercolor techniques and style. Came to the U.S. after living in the capital city for 35 years. Rahinda Casey. David Saviano, Alameda, California. After 40 years as a practicing architect, David now loves working outdoors because it's unpredictable. Gives you a spontaneity you can't get in the studio. David Saviano. Kathleen Hudson is from Colorado City, Colorado. Kathleen skipped her last year of high school to study independently while backpacking around Europe and painting. She is also coming a few days early to do an oil painting workshop at the X-Bar Ranch near El Dorado this October. Kathleen Hudson. Stephen Haynes, Irwin, Pennsylvania. An American Impressionist Society associate member, Stephen is a dog lover and has ridden mountain bikes on 3 continents, not at the same time, and surfed in both hemispheres. Stephen Haynes. Susie Baker is from Shenandoah, Texas. Susie served as president of Oil Painters of America from 2020 to 2022. She's adopted, born in Canada, has a wonderful relationship with her birth parents who still live in Canada. Susie Baker. Cedar Park, Texas. Congratulations, John. He hasn't made the bid on his painting here tonight. You might consider doing that now. Not only is John a national award-winning artist, he is also a PhD physicist. Oh, come on, clap. Kent Brewer from Waxahachie, Texas. Kent is a regular award winner at the Paint Historic Waxahachie event, winning Best in Show this year, first place last year painting the downtown street scenes. We'll expect some Concho Street paintings from him this year. Jeff Markowski, Savannah, Georgia. Born in Saskatchewan, Canada, he played hockey as a child when he wasn't painting or sculpting with leftover clay from his mother's pottery studio. In 2022, he stepped away from full-time academia and is the plein air nomad, currently traveling across North America painting, and we hope he lands in San Angelo in October. Ibrahim Amin from Lamarck, Texas. As a teen in Iran, Ibrahim was immersed in studying art. He moved to Munich, then to Cologne, opening a successful art gallery. In 1995, a visit to California's plein air scene encouraged him to move again. Today, he works to blend the traditional master style with his plein air practices. Ibrahim Amin. Julia Fletcher, Goldthwaite, Texas. Yes, Goldthwaite. Accepted for the second time in the International Association of Pastel Society's juried show, Julia intended to be a potter in her early life. Painting was her second love. Julia Fletcher. Catherine Hillis is from Locust Grove, Virginia. Before winning awards in plein air and national watercolor exhibitions, Catherine worked as an actress and costume designer for the regional theater in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Catherine Hillis. Laura Martinez Bianco from Marlboro, New York. On location, Laura works in pastels. When she returns to the studio, she creates from those experiences with encaustic, which is a blend of molten wax and fire. Laura is also a beekeeper. Laura Martinez Bianco. Christopher Lieber from Kansas, Ohio. This is Christopher's 5th year to return to EnPleinAir, Texas. Some of you may not know he illustrated 4 children's books for the Smithsonian and the African Wildlife Foundation. Christopher Lieber. Hi Ohu, Stephenville, Maryland. Hai O was born in Beijing, where she studied painting and ceramics. She travels and paints extensively in places like Tibet, Russia, and Cuba. Hai Ohu. Alan Brockbank from Central Utah. Alan speaks fluent Portuguese. I plan on having a long conversation. And he was a missionary living in Brazil for 2 years. Last November, he was featured in Plein Air magazine as one of the 10 rising stars to collect now.
And great
Alan
man.
Brockman. Russell Jewell, Easley, South Carolina. Russell just received signature membership with the American Watercolor Society in New York. He has a doctorate in art education, but he wants us to know that he was the state pole vault champion in high school. Russell Jewell. Irina Taylor from San Antonio, Texas. Irina was born in Germany following World War II. Her parents fled to what is now Poland today, and after 4 years in a refugee camp, were sponsored along with 150 immigrants to the U.S. by Christian families in the Midwest. She remains grateful for that and thankful to be an American citizen. Irina Taylor. Julie Sanderson, Montgomery, Texas. Julie won the Wet Paint Award of Excellence at the Oil Painters of America Convention in 2021. However, her dad worked at NASA, and she happens to have a charm that went to the moon. We're not talking about her innate charm, it's the thing that dangles from her. Liz Bonham, Keller, Texas. Liz is a signature member of several art organizations, including Women Artists of the West. She also did the artwork for The Crippled Lamb by Max Lucado, selling almost 2 million copies. Her high school teacher encouraged her to start painting portraits at Astro World Six Flags when she was 15, and she's glad she did. Liz Bonham. Wendy Brayton is from Petaluma, California. Wendy was 5 years old when Christo's running fence of billowing white fabric appeared across her front yard. Those memories have inspired her artistic journey. Twice, she completed 31 paintings in 31 days for a fundraiser for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. We're happy to welcome Wendy Brayton. Todd Saul is from Nolensville, Tennessee. Born in New York City, Todd started out as an artist and musician. After 20 years in a variety of industries, he taught himself to paint watercolor, coming to love the fact that you cannot control it. Todd Saul. Lisette McClung, League City, Texas. Lisette has lived in the Houston area for over 30 years, but grew up in Virginia. Still influenced by the colorful patterns and shapes from the Virginia fall landscapes that she remembers from childhood. She taught biology for 2 years, but now spends her time painting outdoors. Lisette McClung. Michael Compton, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Michael saw his first master paintings at the Huntington Library in LA. That fueled his passion to allow him the creative impulse hidden in all things to be his guide as each of his paintings is revealed on the canvas. Michael Compton. Krista Pisano, Nyack, New York. Krista is known for painting on a small scale and in fact must paint larger than normal for our mini pearls of conchos. When not painting, you might have found her taking hula hoop dance classes. Krista Pisano. Carla's native language is Afrikaans, which is spoken in South Africa, where she was born and raised. She was awarded an extraordinary ability green card as an artist applicant to come to the U.S. She dreams of doing some sculpting someday. Carla Bosch. Kristen Anderson, Long Beach, California. Kristen was a nationally ranked swimmer and still races outrigger canoes up and down the coast chasing dolphins. She's a full-time radiation therapist and finds her interest in natural sciences complements her understanding of the world that she paints on canvas. Kristen Anderson. And if we can get some champagne glasses delivered around the room, we are ready to congratulate our 2022 EnPleinAir Texas competition artists. While everyone is getting their champagne and chocolate, let's get Barbara back here and talk about some of the new events for 2022. And I also want to remind you the auction is still live, and we want to encourage you to come in with this quote from one of our new artists, Sparta Lewis, who said, "Good paintings in a home are far more than present before. They have power to create atmosphere, awaken dreams, change cultures, and stir a sleeping heart to life." Barbara.
Well, while we're getting our champagne and chocolate, I want to tell you that every year, Treva and I always think we have the schedule down pat. From last year, it's just going to be easy to just do just what we did last year, but no, there's all these crazy ideas that we can't resist that pop up. And that, we know that that's what keeps ECAT fresh and new for you guys and for those artists that are applying. So I want to talk just about a few new additions to the schedule this year. This year, before the artists ever come to San Angelo, they're going to spend 4 days on a ranch. They'll be scattered 2 here, 4 here, 3 here, 1 there, all over West Texas, painting and hosted by the ranchers themselves. We've got ranchers in the room tonight that are just artists. And so those competition paintings are going to bring quite a diversity to what you see at the Friday night stampede, because they're going to come from all over everywhere, different ranches. And we love our ranchers, and I was at the Plein Air Convention in Santa Fe 2 weeks ago, and the artists, when I bring up, well, you know we're going to have 4 days on. Oh, we know. They're all excited about that. And last year we had a private experience on the ranch with out on the Crutchfield Ranch. That was a huge success. We brought people in from all across Texas and even Florida. We're here to go to that event and pay $100. So we are doing that again for sure. That location will be announced soon. And then I mentioned going to be out in the roping. It's going to be at the Dia de los Muertos. And last year, that was an amazing event. The two ladies, Susanna and Monica, who put that on, two young, remarkable ladies, will host us this year. They're excited about having our artists here. And that's again where we're going to encourage the high school and the elementary school kids to come paint all day on that Saturday. Watch the artists or paint, whatever. And I do want to even go back and say that I think we've opened the door to getting young people involved in plein air, at least here. We're trying to do it across the country, but all we are going to do is do it right here. With our partnership with SAIC, with the children's program that we do here at the museum, with the two amazing Angelo State University students that are working with us. Autumn paints with us every week. Autumn comes to the pasta luncheon that we have once a month, which is Plein Air San Angelo Artists Gather for Lunch. Those two girls are a part of our lives now, and they're going to bring some others in. We're very excited. Okay, we'll just actually get up, stretch your legs, go make a bid on the painting. You have about 3 more minutes or 4.
They didn't even know we were applauding them.
Check it out. Right there.
Oh, I love that scene. Like you nervous?
Ladies and gentlemen, while please welcome back to the microphone Howard Taylor.
Can you hear this? Barely? Can you hear this? Better? Okay, I'm gonna talk like this. Hey, I just wanted to interject a thought. You might look at it as tying the boat, but as I've watched this evening progress, I don't know about you, but my mind is blown about where we are with this incredible event. And one of the things particularly is that Michael Brower is coming, has judged this thing, and maybe he looked at me, I'm not sure, next year. Let me tell you about this. Michael Brower is a close friend, but he is also one of the foremost art historians in America. And he is the ultimate expert in Texas art. And he's one honorary guy. I don't know if he detected that from his presentation. He has opinions, and one of the things he said to me is, I will never, Howard, judge the show. Barbara, I don't know how you do it.
She's a charmer.
But he is during this show, and that is remarkable. So that's one of the really remarkable achievements. Also, this coming Saturday, Michael Brower will be in Dallas, Texas, making a major presentation at an organization called the Center for the Advancement and Study of Early Texas Art. Have you ever heard of that? Perhaps not. But it's one of the most important organizations in Texas. And their person who leads that organization is with us this evening, Laura Henderson, over there. Stand up, Laura. Now, here's the amazing thing. She traveled all the way here from San Angelo, Texas. Because, did you know that Caseta is headquartered in San Angelo, Texas? I want you to think about that. Caseta is the Center for the Advancement and Study of Early Texas Art. We will be convening in Dallas this week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a who's who of people across the state left Texas art. So, hope you get some gist of what I'm trying to tell you about how all these things are converging. I've got to especially, one more time, give an incredible thank you to Barbara and Treva for what you guys have done.
When he talks about Caseta, I always say, in 25 years, these paintings that y'all are buying are going to be early Texas art. So, that's art.
So that's all I had to say. And if you are interested, you can actually come to the Casetta Symposium in Dallas. It's this weekend. Talk to Allura, and she'll set you up, and it's incredible. There's also an art fair there. What a wonderful thing for all these things converging in our community. And by the way, there's two guys here. I don't know who's back there. I like to always, Mike Boyd, long-suffering Mike Boyd, and then Joe Rowley. Give them a little hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you help me thank Howard Taylor for his incredible support? We are indeed fortunate to have Howard in our midst, and he has threatened many times to go away, and we won't let him.
And I've been offered to go.
Let me have one of those glasses. And I'll get Treva and Barbara. You guys are always the last to be served. One is. Oh, we got one more table here. One. Yes.
Yeah, there's a lunch.
Once again, remember that when we raise the glass, the auction for the John Wall painting is done. So if you need to get up and go put a number on that piece of paper, we encourage you to do that now.
You work. They told us we couldn't pass them out.
Oh, it's true.
All right, are we missing anyone? Does everyone have a glass?
No,
Not quite.
not quite. They don't have glasses. We need some more. More.
Here's some back here. Do y'all have any? Do y'all have some?
They need some.
Now, if you've already finished your champagne, that doesn't count. You don't get another one. Are we about ready, ladies?
Everybody have champagne? Everybody have champagne? Yes, ma'am. Cheers.
All artists chosen for EnPleinAir Texas 2022, and congratulations.
Here.
And now, to the lucky owner of that beautiful painting by John. And I hope there's not one more person that wants to put a bid down.
Going.
Rick,
Okay.
maybe you need to read this off so it'll not be corrupt.
All right, the winner of the painting tonight with a bid of $2,000. Steve Eustace. We're going to have Sean present it to you, Steve. Thank you so much for your donation. You got it, you stole it. Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Wall. We're so looking forward to October the 2nd when EnPleinAir Texas will take place in San Angelo. Please keep your calendar available for that week, and we love you and thank you